All right, everyone, let's jump right into this quick review. We're going to cover everything you need to know about building a truly fantastic, informative speech. We'll start with that intimidating blank page and walk you all the way through to delivering a powerful presentation. So, this is the big one, right? How would you actually do it? Staring at that blinking cursor on a blank screen can feel, well, a little overwhelming. But trust me, it's not magic. It's a process, a skill you can absolutely learn. And we're going to break it down step by step. Every solid building needs a solid foundation. And for a speech, that foundation is your research. It's all about digging in and finding that credible, compelling info that's going to be the bedrock for everything you say. Yeah, let's just be real for a second. This quote right here, it probably hits home for a lot of you. The word research can sound so heavy and academic, but it doesn't have to be a drag. Think of it more like a treasure hunt. You're looking for the golden nuggets of information that will make your speech truly awesome. This is exactly where it all begins. You're basically gathering your raw materials. A builder can't construct a house without lumber and nails, right? Well, we can't build a speech without facts, stats, and expert testimony. This is the supply run. So, what kind of supplies are we talking about? Well, research pretty much comes in two main flavors. You've got primary research, which is when you go out and create brand new information, think surveys, interviews, that kind of thing. Then there's secondary research, which is what you'll be doing most of the time for this class, and that's all about analyzing information that already exists in books, articles, and journals. Okay, and speaking of finding that info, where do you even start? This right here is your cheat sheet. Instead of just falling down a random internet rabbit hole, use powerful tools like the Directory of Open Access Journals or Google Scholar. They're built to help you find academic, credible sources. Seriously, these are your best friends. Now, this is so important. Once you find that amazing piece of info, you have to give credit. And I'm not just talking about the bibliography at the end. You need to cite your sources while you are speaking. It builds your credibility with the audience in real time. It's a simple three-step move. First, set it up. Tell us who you're about to quote. Then, deliver the info. And finally, and this is the key, interpret it. Tell us why it matters. All right, so you've gathered all your materials. Your research is done. Now what? You can't just have a pile of facts and call it a speech. That's where the framework comes in. We need to give all that great information some shape, some structure. And in the world of public speaking, that framework is called support. Support is just all the different ways you develop your main idea. Think of your support as the wooden beams of your speech. It's what holds your key points up and makes sure the whole thing doesn't fall apart. But listen, not all support is good support. Every single piece of evidence you use has to pass these 4 critical tests. 1, is it accurate? Can you actually verify it? 2, does it come from an authority on the topic? 3, is it current? Is it recent enough to still be relevant? And 4, is it objective, or is the source totally biased? Your support has to pass all 4 of these checks to be strong. And that last point, objectivity, is a big one. This quote really nails it. Bias is when a source has a preset agenda that makes it impossible for them to be impartial. Your job as a speaker is to inform, not to push someone else's hidden agenda. So always ask yourself, what's this source's angle? Okay, we've got our foundation of solid research. We've got our framework of strong support. Now it's time for the finish work. The paint, the windows, the details. This is where we package it all up into our final product, the informative speech. At the end of the day, the goal of an informative speech is actually pretty simple. You are trying to hit one target, audience understanding. That's it. Your main job is to be a teacher, a guide. You want to hand over knowledge to your audience in a way that's accurate, clear, and makes sense to them. And to help you hit that target, you can use one of these common formats. Maybe you're talking about an object, like a new piece of technology, or a person, like an artist you admire, or maybe an event from history, a process, like how something is made, or a big abstract concept, like freedom. Picking a category like this really helps you focus your speech. So when you boil it all down, this is it. This is the magic formula. You need accurate information, which comes from good research. You need it to be clear, which comes from a strong framework. And you have to keep it interesting, so your audience actually wants to listen. Accuracy, clarity, and interest. That's the whole game. So let's bring it all home. We can think of this whole thing as a journey, from that first spark of an idea all the way to the finished speech. It's really just 3 big stages. First, you find your foundation with solid, ethical research. Second, you build your framework using credible support for every single claim you make. And third, you share your knowledge by putting it all together in a clear and engaging, informative speech. Foundation, framework, finish. Simple as that. And that pretty much wraps up our review. We've laid out the blueprint, and you have all the tools you need. So the only question left is the really fun one. What are you going to build? What piece of knowledge are you excited to share with the rest of us? All right, now go make something great.